we are sometimes. Like sometimes we get in a state of being down or depressed while we're waiting for an answer, just because we don't have, the answer. This is Jesus telling a parable about the persistent widow. And so this is a story he gives to his disciples. And so it's just dispute with my enemy. The judge ignored her for a while, but finally he said to himself, I don't fear God or care about people, but this to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night. Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will grant justice on to constant pressure. How much more will a great and loving God respond to us, right? Like if we know that he all of God's people in the Old Testament and the New Testament both, it's insisted that they are taken care of properly. And so Jesus is comparing us to this widow. And so so he says, so don't you think God will surely give justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night? Don't you think that? Okay. And this question is very important. Jesus says, but when the Son of Man returns, how many will he? Right? And so be encouraged by this, because to persist in prayer and not give up, okay? Sometimes we live for him day by day. Okay, that's sometimes all that it is. Sometimes just living our life like he already has answered it, like the answer is coming this day. When we live by faith, not by the things that we see, we just live by the things that we know, which is what we saw in Daniel chapter 9 and 10. So it may seem like there's a delay to us, but it's all God's timing. In his timing, okay? That's the faith part. In his timing. There is nothing better than his timing. And so as we persist in prayer, yourself away from letting the things of this world corrupt you or change your mind or change your heart or change your thinking. He says, stay close to God, not the world's system. Okay? Don't get caught up on the world's value system. Is seeing us share him with the people around us. Even if it's just your joy that you have from a study. And so this last week, we talked a lot about how just hearing and believing is good, but what pleases God is obedience. We don't just expect God to hear us and not act, do we? No, we don't want to. He said, Lord, hear, do something. He's asking God to move, to do something. And so I think a lot of the time we expect God to act. And so he expects the same from us. He doesn't want us for us to just hear this thing. Your persistent prayer is your life. That's what I want you to know. It's not just the act of you getting alone and praying to God. I'm good. Do you want to? So that was Daniel chapter 9 and then Luke 18, verses 1 through 8. And so and he is seeing and he is answering in his timing. And so he expects us not to just hear, but to act. And
here today and letting us have this wonderful service where everyone gets to learn about you and to come together and talk about you too.